Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2013 Avista NAIA World Series, where we've got quite a matchup here in Game 2, where Northwood out of Texas and the Masters of California. I'm Bert Solberg, alongside my partner is Craig Lawson. Craig, what about this matchup today? We got the number 4 and number 5 team.
Yeah, a good matchup. Anytime you get a 5-4, you're thinking a competitive ball game, and both these teams come in, obviously winning their opening round in sweeping fashion, and they've both come in pretty hot, and we expect a good matchup here, and the weather has cleared up for us, Bert, so that's a good sign here in Lewiston.
That is exactly a good sign. Here at Harris Field in Lewiston, Idaho, the campus of Lewis Clark State College, we had some overcast skies and a little bit of rain for Game 1, which Missouri Baptist came away an 8-3 win over Sterling, Kansas in the opening game, and this is Game 2, but like you said, we got some sunshine right now, it's supposed to be cloudy and a little intermittent rain kind of all day, but right now things are good to go in this matchup. Northwood University comes in with a 43-11 record, the number 4 seed in the tournament, and the Masters is 43-15, and the number 5 seed out of Santa Clarita, California. All ready for the first pitch. And the Masters will be the visiting team today. Leading off will be Caleb Halverson, the center fielder. Halverson batting from the right-hand side. We'll go through the lineup here in a minute. Halverson hitting .302 on the season. 52 hits and 172 plate appearances. He's got 7 doubles and 3 home runs. Gives the team a little bit of speed. Steps in from the left-hand side and takes the first pitch for a called strike. Halverson will be followed by the shortstop, Jonathan Papadox. The third baseman, Steve Carkenny, will hit third. The designated hitter, Joe Riddle, will hit fourth as he bunts back to the pitcher, Roman Gomez, who fields it and fires on to first for the first out.
Good job to get off the mound right there by Gomez, fielding his position, jumps ahead with strike 1, and then Halverson tries to bunt his way aboard, but he bunted it a little bit too hard, and a nice athletic play by Gomez.
That'll bring up Jonathan Papadix, the shortstop. Second leading hitter on the team at .352 during this season. Second on the team in doubles with 19. No power per se with no home runs. Takes the first pitch outside. Again, Papadix will be followed by Carkenny, the third baseman. Riddle, the DH, Ryan Shackelford in right field, Chris Talley, the catcher, Sam Robinson, the second baseman, Cody Harris at third, and batting in the bottom of the order will be James Scott, the first baseman. As nice catch out in left field by Herb Romero.
Atta baby Herb.
Wow. Great defense. He read the ball well, and just a nice little sliding catch on the fly out by Papadix. And there are 2 down.
Yeah, it was a flare headed for left field, but Romero saw it right away, and so often a guy will take that first step back because that's what the textbook says, but he read that very well and was charging hard all the way, and then with the slide came up with it, and a big second out here in the first inning for Northwood.
That'll bring up Carkenny, and that's the thing about it is, you know, it sounds weird, but when you have to play at different fields, it is an adjustment to see how the ball carries, and usually on a hot day in this ballpark, the ball carries very well and out of the park, and so you'll see some teams stand here and hit 3 or 4 home runs a ball game. That ball seemed to, you know, like you said, he took a step back and thought it was carrying pretty well and then realized the ball's not carrying today. I'll let you set the defense after this next pitch. It swung on and fouled back.
Around the outfield and right to left, it's Jose Arena. The center fielder, Jordan Lewis. In left field, it's Herb Romero, who just made that fine play out there. At shortstop, it's Elvin Rodriguez. Third base, Logan Brumley. Second base is Isaac Matarino. And at first base, Esteban Hernandez.
That pitch again fouled off. Count remains 0-2.
And the battery, Adam Humes behind the plate, and then Roman Gomez out there on the mound. And Bert, you talk about the lack of power in this offense. This is a 29 home run team in 58 games for the Masters, but the guy in the batter's box right now has 11 of those.
And that's a two-hopper to the third baseman. Logan Brumley fires across the first, and 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. There were no runs, no hits, and no errors. We'll have Northwood coming up after the break. Welcome back to the second inning of the Game 2 of the 2013 Avista NAIA World Series. Right now, Northwood with a 1-0 lead over the Masters College out of California. Masters went 1-2-3 in the top of the first against Roman Gomez. See if they can get something started here as designated hitter Joe Riddle, the cleanup hitter, will step in, and he'll be followed by Ryan Shackelford, the right fielder, and Chris Talley, the catcher, here in the top of the second. First pitch from Gomez is low. Riddle hitting .254 on the season. Has some pop in the bat, 6 home runs. And that was second on the team. As he takes a big cut at that one, and 1-1. Masters hit .293 on the season. One of the lower batting averages here in the tournament is that ball's hit to the right, the center fielder, Jordan Lewiston, getting over and makes the kind of basket catch for the first out. And 4 in a row retired by Gomez, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Ryan Shackelford.
One of the things that's important about this game, too, Bert, is I think that the team that wins this game has a little bit of an advantage with the extra day off when you look at Monday in the 10-team bracket. We can get into more of that.
Shackelford looked like he was going to score the bunt, brings the bat back, but still call a strike. And I think you make a great point. If I'm in this tournament, of the 2013 Avista NAIA World Series here at Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho, Northwood, the number 4 seed out of Cedar Hill, Texas, with a 1-0 lead over the Mustangs of Masters College out of Santa Clarita, California. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters here in the third for the Masters against Roman Gomez, who's retired the first 6 hitters he faced. Sam Robertson, the second baseman's at the plate. He'll be followed by Cordy Harris, the third baseman, and then James Scott, the first baseman, as that ball is fouled off, 1-1. Robinson hitting .276 on the season with 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run, and 20 RBI. Looking to get something going for the Masters. Swung on and missed. And you asked me a question right before we went to the break. What do? Do you throw your, if you know that you can win this game and you got 2 straight days of being off, do you throw your number 1 or number 2 guy today? And to me, as that ball's lifted in the air, the second baseman, Isaac Matarino, calls everybody off, and he'll make the grab. 1 down, and 7 in a row retired here by Gomez. To me, you scout. I mean, I really think you scout your opponent and try to learn, how do they hit against left-handed pitching? How do they hit against right-handed pitching? And who is my best matchup with them? Now, that's a different philosophy, I think, than most coaches. Most coaches are going to throw their number 1 guy because then you get to bring him back that much earlier in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think, you also look at matchups. So I think it's a different, whatever your coaching philosophy is. But obviously, in this day and age, it's pretty easy to scout. You get a lot of friends out there in the coaching world. As that ball's bunted, nice play by the third baseman, Logan Brumley, but not in time as Cody Harris gets the first hit of the ball game with a bunt single for the Masters.
Yeah, that's a play right there where everybody does what they're supposed to do. Just a good baseball play all the way around. Great bunt by Harris and a great effort by Brumley with the bare hand trying to get it over there. And a good stretch at first base even by Hernandez, but it just winds up being a base hit.
And what I'm really liking in this ball game, we talked about nerves. One team is making its debut. Northwood has never played in the series. The Masters played in it once, and that was year 2000. And so, how are these teams going to handle the big stage, so to speak. And I really like the way both teams are playing defense. And we've seen some great defensive plays so far.
Yeah, that's usually where you see the nerves show up the most, as a guy's just a little jittery and not ready for something out there, but that has certainly not been the case this afternoon.
Scott James at the plate, the first baseman, the number 9 hitter for the Masters. Took a big cut at that one. And the pitch is outside and then gets away from the catcher, Adam Humes. And on to second base is Cody Harris. So Masters puts the tying run in scoring position here in the top of the third. 1-0 ball game. Northwood on top with a run in the bottom of the first. Threatened a little in the second with a runner on second, but couldn't put anything across. And now the Masters has their first base hit and first base runner of the ball game, trying to draw even. 2-1 on Scott, who lofts that one out in the right center field. That's going to get over the head and to the wall, off the warning track. Center fielder Jordan Lewis will fly it in, but not before James Scott stands at second base with a stand-up double and bringing in the run to tie the game. 1-1.
Well, we talked about the catch defensively by Halverson in the bottom of the second and how at the time it kept it a 1-0 ball game. And with that, now the Masters comes right back in the top of the third. The first 7 guys are out, but you get that nice little bunt single, and maybe that's your spark. The wild pitch gets him into scoring position, and then that ball was the best hit ball we've seen today, at least in this ball game, as Scott one-hopped the wall out there in left center field.
And I didn't think that ball was that well hit, and that ball traveled. That hit the warning track, and a nice job of hitting by James Scott.
First time through the lineup, I thought Gomez did a good job of pitching backward to these hitters for the Mustangs. And we'll see now as we turn the lineup over and start through it the second time to see if he continues with that pattern or if he goes more with the textbook fastball to get ahead and then maybe a breaking ball once you're ahead in the count. But he did a lot of pitching backward the first time through.
Caleb Halverson, the center fielder, grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. And like you said, we'll see what kind of adjustments maybe the Masters batters make this time through. As back-to-back hits, a single and a double, tie the ball game at 1-1 here in the top of the third inning. First time we've had to see Gomez pitch from the stretch this inning, as he retired the first 7 batters he faced all in a row, and then a single and a double, and we'll see if that affects him at all. Obviously, the double did.
Affected his ERA anyway.
Yeah. That pitch is awfully high, and the Masters, that's what you do, is just keep yourself close and then take advantage of the situation and the opportunities that present themselves. And Cody Harris a bunt single, and then Jaden Scott an RBI double to left center field, and 1-1 ball game, and that ball's lofted into shallow left field. The shortstop Elvin Rodriguez backs up and makes the catch for the second out, and Scott has nowhere to go but stay at second base. 2 down now. They'll bring up the shortstop Jonathan Papadix. He flew out to left his first time up, as I've got unofficially 5 of the 8 outs so far have been flyouts for the Masters.
Yeah, 2 of them in shallow, or both of those this inning, where the infielders were able to go out and make the play. But yeah, 5 of the outs in the air so far for Gomez. And another one was on a bunt, so that's, you don't really know there, because it's not where a guy rolled over on a ground ball. He was just trying to bunt his way aboard.
Right, and because we haven't seen these pitchers or these players before, we can't tell you if that's normal. You get a lot of flyouts, but it makes you draw that conclusion when he gets a lot of flyouts early in the ball game. That's what he's kind of that pitcher that gets people to pop up against him. So Papadix 1-0 count as he digs in and takes the pitch inside from Gomez. 2-0.
Yeah, that's where you wish that they give you all these stats to get ready for a broadcast, but you'd love to see maybe break down the ground out fly out ratio, but they don't do that. Those are the advanced stats.
Papa Dix 352 on the season, 19 doubles, which was second on the squad. And that pitch misses, count 3-0. I don't think catcher Adam Humes really particularly agreed with that call as he held on to the ball for a little bit there. But Papa Dix with 3 doubles and 26 RBI, trying to put the Masters ahead for the first time in the ball game with a base hit. And that pitch catches the outside corner for a strike, 3-1. Getting a little darker as you can see rain kind of in the right field corner down there, making its way hopefully around us. But it is raining off in the distance. And that's the concern for today. It's supposed to be on and off rain, as that's called strike. Full count now on the batter.
And of course, you do everything you can to get these games in today, because you've got the off day Sunday, but you just prefer not to use that if you don't have to.
The key thing is that some of these institutions at the series have religious affiliations that don't like to play on Sunday, and that's a base hit in between.
Oh man!
Misplayed by the left fielder Herb Romero, and on to second and going to third. Yes, as Romero continues to struggle with the ball.
Come on, guys!
It was actually Jordan Lewis struggling with the ball, and sliding into third is Papa Dix. I got to think they're going to give him a single, and whether they give him 1 error or 2 errors, I think they're going to give him 2. I
would too. I think it's 1 on each.
We'll take a look at the replay here. As the base hit in between, left fielder Herb Romero just misplaced the ball. I think that's the first error, because that allows the base hit
go to second.
To get to second, and then as Jordan Lewis comes over to pick up the ball, he drops it, and that allowed the runner to get to third. So I wouldn't be surprised. Right now they have 1 error on the scoreboard. I wouldn't be surprised that's 2 errors.
Yeah, I think it needs to be
because the runner actually stopped, and then when the ball was dropped by the center fielder, he took off again. So I honestly think that's going to be 2 different errors on the same play there.
Yeah, I agree. Papa Dix, there we go. He definitely slowed up going into second. It looked like he got his feet a little bit off, and he actually, as you said, Bert, stopped. And so you have to give him the second error in my mind, because otherwise he's not going to go the extra 90 feet.
Yeah, we'll see if the scoreboard is just wrong. We'll check during the break in the innings if it doesn't change. But the Masters now ahead 2-1 in this ball game, with a runner on third threatening for more damage, and that ball's roped down the left field line, but foul. So, base hit for Papa Dix, and I think they'll give him an RBI because the runner was going the whole way, the whole time, and you got to assume that he would score. So there should be an RBI on the play, but I'm not sure about the errors. And we'll double check on that as Kenny digs in and making solid contact, but fouling off pitches and falls behind 0-2. Always an interesting first day at the ballpark because of some of the things that go on. If you notice out in the left field stands, it's elementary school day. Teams yesterday went and visited elementary schools around the area. Today, the elementary schools get free passes to this ball game, so you're going to see a lot of screaming children doing possibly the wave, whatever else, and But as the storm clouds come in, you might see less and less, and more school buses start pulling up to take them away. We'll see how that goes, but it's always a fun day at the ballpark. Pitch just misses. Count now 2-2 on Carkenny.
Take a look at the stat monitor we have, Bert. Right now, at least, they've only charged the 1 error, so the official score doesn't agree with you and me.
We'll make our case, and they'll tell us no, and we'll see what happens. Swung and missed on by Carkenny for the third out, but not before the Masters can get across 2 runs on 3 base hits. There were 1 or 2 errors, depending on who you talk to, and 1 man left on. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning with the Masters now ahead 2-1.
Ross and Bert Sahlberg welcome you back to the 2013 Avista NAIA World Series on the campus of Lewis Clark State here in Lewiston, Idaho. And 3 innings in the books, and the number 5 seed, the Masters, has a 2-1 lead over the number 4 seed, Northwood, out of Texas. And But really, the story of the early part of the ball game, good defense by both sides, but the one big defensive miscue hurting Northwood.
Yeah, and that's been the difference in the ball game. The great matchup. I just hope this matchup continues. As you saw those weather clouds coming in, and I'm blowing out the window trying to blow them around us, but I don't think I can create enough wind to do that.
There's a ground ball to second base and an easy play for Isaac Matarino, and with it, 1 up, 1 down here in the top half, inning number 4. And Bert, we saw Gomez go through this. He's now retired the leadoff man in all 4 innings, but he ran into a little bit of trouble last inning, and that's the 2 runs that the Mustangs have on the board.
Right, and his defense let him down a little bit with the 2 errors, but still, they got Masters finally got some base hits off him and made some things happen, and that's what you have to do in this. You got to take advantage of your opportunities and put the pressure on the other team. Both teams have done a pretty good job of trying to get things going and making the other team make the plays. The thing is, most of the time, 9 times out of 10 so far, the other team has responded and made the play. So, just keep that pressure on, and eventually good things happen. And then we've seen that from both teams.
Pitch swung on and missed, and now no balls and 2 strikes to the Masters right fielder, Ryan Shackelford. He flew out to left field his first time up back in the second. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mustangs. A run on 3 hits, and the 2 errors we talked about for the Knights. That one he blows by Shackelford as he went upstairs with the fastball and strikes him out, and with it, that's his second strikeout, but they've come in the last 3 hitters.
Gomez is a strikeout pitcher in some form. He's done a nice job with 67 strikeouts against 30 walks this season in 81 1/3 innings coming into this ball game.
That ball lifted into left field, and it's going to carry deep to left, and I think it got out of here, and it did. It hit above. I think it hit the signs.
Yeah, they hit the second row of signs, and that's a home run.
Those are actually set back here, are they not, a little bit?
Yeah, they are. And the first, the bottom row is the fence. The second row of signs, anything over that top row of the fence, that first row of fence is a home run, and that hit the second set of signs.
I know it sounds bad.
Right near the LCWarrior.com, I believe, and came back into the field, and you got to give the third base umpire, Steve Miller, credit, because he was right there to make the call.
Get a chance to look at it right here on the replay, and yeah, you're exactly right. Right off the LCWarriors.com sign out there in left field. And again, another ball that off the bat just didn't sound that great and didn't look like it was going to carry, but immediately Romero took off like it was going to be at least a double, and it just carried right on out of here.
Well, Romero kind of was frozen in his track for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it was a mad sprint to get back there. So I think he didn't realize it was carrying that well either.
Man, stick with the off speed. It's doing well.
Drives one through the hole in the left field, so back-to-back base hits. That was Chris Talley. He hit it on the first pitch, but didn't even get a chance to tell you who it was that hit the home run. But Talley picks up his 4th home run of the year. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is a ball club that only hits a home run about every other game. Well, they have one today, and with it, they now lead it 3-1, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Cody Harris, who bunted his way aboard in the third. He's 1 for 1.
I really didn't pay that close attention in the first game about how well the ball was carrying. So there are some days here where the humidity's up a little bit and the ball carries pretty well. You have to wonder if the ball's carrying obviously better than what they think, because the way the outfielders have got some jumps on some balls a couple times, or maybe they're just having a hard time picking the ball up in the clouds, because a couple times they've had a hard time coming in on a ball, and that one was a hard time realizing that ball was hit better than it was.
First pitch to Harris was down in the dirt, and Robinson was taken off on the play, and he winds up with a stolen base, so he's in scoring position now. That one's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count even at a ball and a strike.
It is dark enough here that they do actually have the lights on, and it's 1:15 in the afternoon here.
I've sat out in those bleachers for a few ball games down here, and I've always thought it was hard to pick it up off the building anyway, and then you bring in the gray clouds, and you're right, I think the outfielders have had some trouble with that. Pitch down low for a ball, 2-1, but it goes back to an earlier point you made about it's an unfamiliar ballpark for everybody but the Warriors here this weekend.
And I know through the years, LC's done some upgrades, especially with the lighting system about 4 years ago, putting in a brand new lighting system, because it was dark. Night games, it was hard to pick up the ball if you weren't used to it.
There's a line drive out in the center.
Fastball again.
Hit around third will be Robeson, and he will score. So the stolen base sets up the RBI single.
Leave the fastballs alone,
the Masters have 2 runs in an inning for the second consecutive frame, and now lead it 4-1.
Well, there you go. I mean, the first 2 innings looked like all Northwood, as pitcher Roman Gomez retired the first 7 batters he faced. Northwood had some scoring opportunities, only got 1 run in, and then all of a sudden the defensive play maybe sparked the Masters, and since that times and getting people in scoring position, like you said, and all of a sudden it's a 4-1 ball game.
And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, James Scott. He had an RBI double his first time up, and if you take a look at the lineup, Bert, 6 through 9 guys, they're a combined 5 for 7, so they've done all the damage.
Scored all 4 runs so far as well. Yeah. That's what you like to see. You like to see your balanced attack, and you like to see the guys picking each other up.
There's a high fly ball into left field. This one, plenty of room out there for Romero. Now he comes in a couple of steps and squeezes it for out number 3. But the Masters pick up a couple of runs on 3 hits. One of them the solo home run by Talley, and after 3.5, it's the Masters 4, Northwood 1. 13 Avista NAIA World Series. It'll be the top of the order for the Masters. The Mustangs fell behind with a run in the first by the home team Northwood out of Texas, but the Masters from California has come back, and 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. And Bert, we were talking a lot about the rain, and we can certainly see it now hitting our window here in the press box. So it's certainly here in some form.
Yeah, it's now. We were talking last inning, we really couldn't see the rain. It's starting to come down now as the first pitch of the inning is bunted for now.
Yeah, Halverson tried to bunt his way aboard back in the first and was unsuccessful. And the same result here. Gomez off the mound to make the play, and then quickly 1 pitch, 1 out. And I'm not sure that's the best approach when you've put up a couple of runs in each of the last 2 innings. If you want to give up an out right there on 1 pitch, I think it'd make Gomez work a little harder out there.
Interesting fact, Papadix up now. Papadix is actually from Boise, Idaho, as is A.J. Work. They both went to different high schools in Boise. Boise is about 270 miles south of Lewiston. Lewiston is about 100 miles south of Spokane, Washington, and 30 miles south of both Pullman, Washington, where Washington State University is, and as a sports fan, you get a little. I'm spoiled because I get to go watch Pac-12 and some of the University of Idaho athletic events. I really enjoy that, and then you get great baseball right here in Lewiston. So, and LC's also the host team, Lewis Clark State College, does very well in all athletics. Really,
Throw it, change up again.
Kind of a fun area to be associated with.
Yeah, it's a great area. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Papadix, and he pulls that one foul down the left field line. The count even up at 2-2. He was robbed of a hit in the first by the Northwood left fielder Herb Romero, and then came up with a base hit in the third. And Bert, this has just become the home for NAIA World Series this time of year, and I'm not sure there's a better venue out there for this event.
Well, it went out for bid as that ball's popped up.
Ball in the shallow left field. Just a step on the outfield grass is the shortstop Rodriguez, who squeezes it for out number 2, and that'll move the line down to Steve Carkinney, the number 3 man, who's nothing out of 2 in the ballgame.
This was the last year of the contract for the series here in Lewiston, and it went out for bid, and the NAIA never did say who all, would never disclose who bid on the tournament, but LC, I know, put in 2 different bids based on reimbursements to keep the tournament here, and they had to turn in that bid during the fall, and it wasn't announced until April that they won the bid back, and so the tournament is going to be here again for at least 3 more years and possibly longer.
It's a ground ball to third, a couple of hops. Nice play over there by Brumley. Throws a little bit low, a little bit of a bobble, and they say he picked it up in time over at first base. Hernandez, that was a play where it went in the dirt, in and out of the mid of Hernandez, and he had to pick it up in time before Carkinney got to the bag, and it is a 1-2-3 inning. So we're halfway home. Well, welcome back to Harris Field on the campus of Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho. Craig Lawson along with Bert Sahlberg. We're here for Game 2 of the 2013 Avista NAIA World Series. And so far, it's the number 5 seed, the Masters, holding a 4-1 lead over the number 4 seed, Northwood. And we had a little bit of fireworks early, and now both pitchers have settled down a little bit, Bert.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pitcher's duel, but, a couple runs by the Masters in the third and fourth innings kind of broke this game open. It was Northwood early in the ball game that was kind of establishing a little dominance, but since then it's been the Masters up 4-1 here, and we've seen good pitching as Roman Gomez enters the 5th.
First pitch to the designated hitter, Riddle, is lifted in the air to center field. Out there to squeeze it for Northwood is Jordan Lewis. And Riddle, the number 4 man in the lineup, is nothing out of 3. And we talked about it earlier. 1 through 5, Gomez has been great.
Yeah.
Just one hit. It's the 6 through 9 guys that have got to him.
And they have. And that fly ball, that's the first time I've seen the rain coming down that hard. And so it is raining much harder right now because first time I can see it actually in front of us coming in. I see the umbrella started popping up again, so we'll see how this continues on. They do a great job on this ball field of making sure that it gets plenty of diamond dry and everything else, but they'll do everything they can to get these games in.
Ground ball to the right side off the end of the bat from Shackelford, and over to field it is Gomez, and he flips on to first for the second out. So 2 up, 2 down. It's the 5th time in 6 innings that he's retired the first 2 men in the lineup. He did it in the 1st, 2nd, and 5th. He had a 1-2-3 inning. He also had the first 2 guys out in the 4th, but then was touched for a home run by this guy, Chris Talley.
The grounds crew also expecting rain today. You can see, there's a circle in the batter's box, and then the 2 lines that connect to the dugouts. There are 2 different colors of dirt. You can see that the diamond dry or whatever they're using has been mixed into the dirt on the infield and the rest of the field as compared to the dirt that's on the outskirts, and you get 2 different colors. So you can tell that they've prepared the field for, in case some moisture comes today, that it'll be ready to absorb it.
The 0-1 pitch is inside for a ball. And refresh my memory, but they have a tarp that can cover the circle and the mound, but the infield, or no? Do they have a full tarp?
Yes, they have a full tarp.
Okay.
That'll cover everything. So, and that tarp is actually down the left field line.
That ball hit just foul down the left field line, and boy, that was a tough call for Steve Miller as he's got the third baseman diving in front of him, Brumley, trying to keep his hands on the ball, or eye on the ball, and dodge the ball when Brumley didn't come up with it, and he called it foul. And I'm not totally sure that Monty Brooks was in agreement as he was staring in for the home plate umpire Tracy Rolls for a little help, but it's clearly Miller's call.
Yeah. And he made the call immediately, so I give him credit. As long as you make the call immediately, that's instead of wait until the ball's halfway to the down the line and in foul territory, and all of a sudden you start waving fair. He made the call immediately, raised his hands as he's getting out of the way.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to Talley. That one is an off-speed pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. So 7 in a row now set down for Gomez, who has his 2nd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. It's his 3rd strikeout, and we're through 5.5 with the Masters leading Northwood 4-1.
For the 7th inning, Masters is still on top 4-1 over Northwood, and we were just talking during that break about the tag up at second base and how it was kind of a bang play, and it's one of those. I don't mind it being called. You just want consistency. It's like a basketball game. You if you're going to call, the ticky tack fouls, fine. Just be consistent. So that's all you want to see in something like this is if you really have to make sure you're tagging up. There's no kind of half tag and you leave early kind of thing, because that's exactly what they called there. It was kind of a bang, but if they're going to call it.
The only thing that makes me think maybe he did leave early, but is that Kiner, he didn't like the call, but the player's not going to. But there was no argument whatsoever by Northwood's coaching staff.
It's the first pitch to Robinson falls off the glove of the third baseman Brumley, but he picks up and fires the first for the first out.
That's the 2nd time we've seen the infield for Northwood have a little bit of a bobble, but be able to recover in time. And again, 1 pitch, 1 out, and you wonder right now we've talked so much about the rain today, and we'll see looks like we got a replay here, and you'll see the 1 hopper to the left side, and it's in the glove and then just right out of the glove, but he quickly barehanded and didn't really get a step and made a strong throw.
Just a great play, recovering like that in time, because he easily could have, when it got away from him, it could have, just easily gave up on the ball, but he just grabbed it barehanded, fired to first, and bang, 1 down. Bring up Cody Harris, the third baseman. Cody is 2 for 2 in the ball game, and we've talked about all game, it's been the bottom of the lineup for the Masters that has made the difference in this ball game, and Harris trying to bunt his way on, but fielded by Gomez, underhand to first base, and there are 2 down. So Harris retired for the first time in this ball game, and that'll bring up James Scott, who has a RBI double, bringing the first run in the 3rd inning, and he later scored on a base hit by Jonathan Papadix.
Well, you wonder here, I was going to make the point with the rain, is if you're the Masters and you have the lead, we talked about you really don't want to be delayed because you're a starting pitcher. Maybe you start to be a little bit more aggressive offensively to speed up the time of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think right now you got to say you have the momentum, so you just want to keep that momentum, keep the game flowing, and keep the pressure on Northwood, and then let them feel like the game's getting away from them, make the plays like we saw with Brumley at third. But he did a nice job of recovering. He balled the ball on the grounder, but made a nice recovery and threw to first, and that's what you want to see. So see if the Masters can keep this going. The Masters, we haven't really discussed much about their Golden State Athletic Conference. They had a few Player of the Year, the Pitcher of the Year, and the Coach of the Year all come from their squad. As that ball's hit slowly to the shortstop.
Damn it!
Elvin Rodriguez, and his throw is in the dirt and gets away from first baseman Estevan Hernandez and into the dugout. And on its second is Scott with a ground ball error. Charged the error on the throw to Rodriguez. It's the third error of the ball game for Northwood.
Yeah, just really a routine ground ball to Rodriguez. It just looked like he got a little bit lazy there and just kind of didn't get everything on the throw. And with the soft dirt due to the wet conditions, really not a big hop for Hernandez. He was expecting a little bit more of a bounce, and with it, the ball just skidded and got by him into the dugout. And we'll see if the Masters can capitalize.
Quick replay here, and what I was wondering is he didn't charge the ball. Well, no, he just routinely picked it up and just kind of a routine throw to first. That was just a bad throw because he had plenty of time. I didn't know if he sat back on the ball long enough that he wanted to rush the throw, but no, that was just a normal throw. He just didn't make a good throw on that. As we head back to the top of the order, it'll be Caleb Halverson, the center fielder. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game. He's grounded out to the pitcher twice and popped up to the shortstop. Looking to get on base for the first time and maybe add to the Masters run as well, as that ball's hit to the second baseman, Isaac Matarino, and he'll fire to first for the third out of the ball. So we finished the top of the seventh inning. We'll head into the seventh inning stretch with the Masters 13 Avista NAIA World Series here at Lewis Clark State College's Harris Field in Lewiston, Idaho. Masters holding a 4-1 lead. Masters out of California, the number 5 seed, leading Northwood out of Texas, the number 4 seed. Both teams with 6 hits. Masters 4 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. Northwood 1 run on 6 hits and 3 errors. Back-to-back errors did hurt in 1 inning and led to a run, but not a lot of damage with the errors thus far.
We see that Roman Gomez, the right-hander, still out there on the mound for Northwood, and unofficially we have his pitch count in the mid-80s, so should have some more left.
Jonathan Papadix, the shortstop, pops up, and wow. I guess Herb Romero, the left fielder, called everybody off, but that was a little close. Center fielder Jordan Lewis was also standing there, and I did see shortstop Elvin Rodriguez kind of peel off, but Romero with the catch and 1 out. Maybe they communicated much better than I thought, but here's the replay, and it kind of looked like the center fielder didn't really hear the call off as they both, right there. I don't think he heard him call him off at all.
No, I think you're right. Lewis was going into a slide to try to make a catch, I think. Yeah. He was fortunate he didn't take out his left fielder in the process.
Right. Romero, I think Romero called him off at the last minute because you saw him Lewis, as he's diving, suddenly kind of dodge his head, but I think it's only because Lewis cut in front of him. So that brings up Steve Carkenny, who the Player of the Year in the Golden State Athletic Conference, and he'll fly out to right field, and quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning for the Masters.
Well, since a 2-out RBI single in the 4th by the number 8 hitter, Harris, Gomez has only allowed 1 base runner, and that was because of an error by his shortstop, Rodriguez. So you look at it, and he's set down 12 of the last 13 men he's faced. Yeah, that'll bring up Joe Riddle, the cleanup hitter, the designated hitter, and like we've talked about all game, as that ball's hit to the first baseman, and maybe we will get to talk about it. Flip over to the first.
Nice job by Gomez covering, and nice play by Efren Hernandez, the first baseman, to get the third out. So it's 1-2-3, a quick top of the 8th inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. It's Masters 4. We head to the top of the 9th inning. The Masters, the number 5 seed in the Avista NAIA World Series, leading Northwood, and the number 4 seed, 4-1. And if I were to tell you that the Masters' top 5 hitters were one of 19 in this ball game, I don't think you'd say that's the team that's ahead. But that's the way exactly is Ryan Shackelford, the number 5 hitter, lines out to the new right fielder.
No, it's the same guy out there. It's the
same guy. It is the same guy. Okay, yeah. It is the right fielder, Jose Reyna. Sorry about that. For the first out, and now the top 5 hitters in the Masters lineup are 1 for 20.
Yeah, and Roman Gomez out there. This is the spot in the lineup where he started his trouble.
Yeah,
and Tally hit a home run earlier in the ball game.
So, basically the Masters just trying to get their first 5 hitters out of the way so they can get to the meat of the order, the 6 through 9 hitters who are carrying the ball club in this ball game, and that's Tally. Tally has a solo home run, along with he's 1 for 3 in this ball game. That's the game's only home run. He grounded out to short in the second. The solo home run in the 4th gave him a 3-1 lead, and then he struck out in the 6th inning. That ball's hit off the shoe of the pitcher, and the second baseman bobbles, makes the play, not in time, and that's going to be a base hit. Boy, tough play. A bouncer off the shoe of Roman Gomez, and Isaac Matarino grabbed the ball, but just couldn't quite get it out of his glove in time, and a bang play at first. Here's the replay. Ball bounces off the pitcher.
Looks like Gomez caught a shoe there, and he was trying to get out of the way. And this was a hot potato out there at second base for Matarino. If he feels it cleanly the first time, I think he winds up getting him out of there. And they're looking. He's pointing to his right foot. That's exactly what happened. I think the ball just hit off his foot. He was lucky as he started to get out of the way. And Gomez is hopping around out there. Says he's all right. There's Bird. He's looking for his 3rd complete game of the year. They only have 5 as a staff. But when you take into consideration that Cody Gray has 2 of them and he's out with an injury, this is really no surprise that this has been the guy that can go this deep in the ball game.
Yeah, and he's pitched very well, and I'm sure they'd like him to finish this game just to keep him going.
He's taking a couple of warm-up tosses. Yeah, I think he's all right. He just wanted to appease his coach right here.
In the meantime, a pinch runner at first base is Nalu Polancic, number 10.
He's running for the courtesy running for Tally. First time Tally's been aboard, and where he's had to run. Another time he hit the home run. He just went around the bases himself. But another hit from this portion of the lineup. So they have 6 of the 7 hits today for the Mustangs.
So Polancic on the run, and the throw down is not in time. Stolen base for Nalu Polancic.
Well, that's the advantage. You get the courtesy runner in the ball game, and he's able to take off, and he got a breaking ball. We mentioned that Gomez has pitched backward at times, and they're going to make a move. They're going to make a move right now after the stolen base and go get somebody out of the bullpen. I'm not sure I saw that one coming.
Well, I think just because of the pitch, I think Gomez has experiencing some discomfort. I don't think he felt good after planning and everything else on that pitch, and I think he kind of looked over at the coach and said, I don't think this feels right. So unfortunately, a pitching change on the way here. But a nice job by Roman Gomez. I mean, a nice effort. You can't ask much more than that kind of effort that he gave today. Held the Masters to 7 hits, 4 runs. And he gets some congratulations from his teammates. That'll bring